He said it loud enough for the microphone to catch. "You're not my real son anyway." It wasn't anger in his voice. It was dismissal, the kind a man uses when he's trying to crush you in front of a crowd. Every chair in the hall shifted at once. Gasps, murmurs, someone's champagne flute clinked against the floor. I smiled. Not the smile of a son embarrassed, the smile of a man who had been waiting for this exact moment. I walked to the podium. The applause from my name being called was still fading, replaced by a thick, awkward silence. I pulled an envelope from my graduation robe. White, crisp, heavy. My father's wife, the second one, froze in her seat, her face drained of color like she'd just seen the executioner walk in. Flashback, before the knife went in. I met him when I was 3. He married my mother when I was 5. He wasn't perfect, but I was a kid. Perfection wasn't part of my checklist for love. He was the man who taught me how to ride a bike, how to shake a hand, how to hide fear when someone bigger tries to intimidate you. I believed in him. Even when he left my mother for the woman now sitting in the front row wearing pearls that didn't belong to her. I still showed up for him. Birthdays, Christmases, even when my seat at the table felt more like a courtesy than a welcome. But something shifted 2 years ago. The first cracks. It started with the little things. A missing invitation to his company's annual dinner. A forgot to mention about his vacation trips. Her, the second wife, calling me your father's son instead of just son. Then, a month after my 21st birthday, I stopped by his house unannounced. I heard them in the kitchen before they saw me. Her voice, "Once he's out of college, you're done with him. No more money, no more handouts. He's not even—" Silence. My father's voice dropped low, but I still caught it. "I know. He's not mine." It felt like the air got ripped out of the room. Evidence. I didn't storm in. I didn't ask questions. I just walked away. And that night, I started digging. 1 month later, I had it. A DNA test he didn't know I'd taken, from a stray glass he'd left at my place. I wasn't his biological son. But that wasn't the betrayal. I'd always suspected. The real betrayal was in the bank statements, property deeds, and the transfer receipts I found when I hired a forensic accountant. Money siphoned from my late mother's estate, the one she left in my name, funneled quietly into accounts under his wife's maiden name. My mother had trusted him to manage it until I was old enough. He'd been bleeding it for years. The shift. I could have gone to the police right then, but that would have been quick, quiet, and quiet wasn't what I wanted. I wanted him to lose what he valued most, control. So I waited. I finished school. I smiled at family dinners. I even thanked him for helping me through college, while I gathered every document, every transfer, every signature. By graduation week, my case was airtight. Back to the stage. I set the envelope on the podium and looked straight at him. I was going to use this moment to thank my father, I began, but it seems the man in that seat just made a point that needs answering. His wife shifted uncomfortably. "This envelope," I said, holding it up, "contains proof of who I am, and proof of what the two of you have been doing for the last 8 years. The audience stirred. I pulled out the first sheet, the DNA report. I read the conclusion aloud. Probability of paternity, 0. I let it hang in the air. His shoulders squared like he was bracing for impact. I pulled out the next set of documents, bank statements, property transfers, a notarized timeline. "This," I said, "is the trail of my mother's money. Every cent she left for me, sitting now in accounts under her name." I pointed to his wife. Gasps rolled through the room like a wave. Her face was paper white. His jaw tightened. "Ha ha ha, the kill shot." "You taught me something important, Dad," I said, my voice steady. "Never start a fight you can't win." I slid the last document onto the podium, a signed agreement from my lawyer, already filed with the authorities. As of this morning, your assets are frozen. Your accounts are under investigation. Oh, and the house? I smiled. It was in my mother's name. You'll need to find somewhere else to sleep by the end of the week." The silence was deafening. Then a ripple of whispers. Someone in the back actually clapped before realizing they shouldn't. My father didn't speak. He just sat there, gripping the arms of his chair so tight his knuckles went white.